Chapter 891. Wilbur scoffed coldly when the right screamed. He also retaliated with a punch. The two fists clashed and made a thunderous boom. Spiritual energy surged and caused tremendous gusts of wind in the living room. Everyone was petrified. Christopher shouted, and he was instantly covered in spiritual flames. An overwhelming spiritual pressure washed over the living room. A huge axe materialized in his hand. The huge axe was burning with spiritual flames, and it had a lot of runes on it. The living room was enveloped by an unseen terror. Everyone started to tremble, and they felt like they were on the verge of a complete meltdown from their souls. Christopher could tell that Wilbur was an expert, so he did not hold back. He instantly unleashed his domain. Fear domain. His opponents would feel fear in their souls in the fear domain. Once fear took hold in his opponents' hearts, they would be massacred. Christopher wielded his huge axe once he unleashed his domain and sprinted toward Wilbur while laughing maniacally. He lifted the axe, and the living room shook with the terrifying force that was created. Sally and Sadie screamed on the spot. They were instantly on the verge of a meltdown. Wilbur scoffed coldly and said, "What an eyesore." Then, he activated his dragon's chant. He lifted his right hand, which turned into a spiritual palm that was several meters wide, and slapped Christopher. The slap resulted in a booming noise. Christopher was smacked into the floor. The extreme terror in the room instantly faded. The living room felt peaceful once more, with only some disturbance from the dissipating energy. Everyone looked at Wilbur with confused looks. The huge hand vanished, and Christopher was left coughing up blood on the floor. He looked at Wilbur with disbelief. He could not believe that he was almost smacked to death as a sanctuary-level cultivator. The others were even more baffled than he was. Tom and the others knew that Christopher was a peak sanctuary-level cultivator. However, he was beaten to a pulp so easily. His opponent was truly terrifying. They trembled all of a sudden because they were extremely scared. Wilbur scoffed coldly and looked at Tom and the others. He said coldly, "Let me introduce you to someone too, since you brought Woodrow Lambert." Then, he took his phone out and called someone. He hung up the phone after a few exchanges of words. He sat down next to Damon and said, "Hold on, Mr. Wright. Your problem will be resolved soon." Damon was too shocked to react. He did not expect Wilbur to be so terrifyingly powerful. He sat down slowly, but he was more shocked than ever. Jimson asked, "How dare you assault others in front of Mr. Lambert? He's an authoritative figure." "Oh, please. Christopher Yule killed Hugo and injured Yanis too. Why didn't you bring that up earlier?" Wilbur asked coldly. Woodrow coughed at that moment and said, "Excuse me. I have things to attend to, so I'll be taking my leave." Woodrow was extremely scared at that moment. He only showed up because he was invited by Tom and the others. On top of that, he also accepted some offers. They agreed that all he had to do was pressure Damon Wright a little. However, things got out of hand. He did not dare to sit there. Wilbur yelled, "Did I give you permission to leave?" Woodrow instantly froze up. He asked, "What do you want?" "Sit down. You have to play out this act since you're here." "How can you leave?" asked Wilbur coldly. Woodrow was shocked. He saw how Wilbur almost smacked Christopher to death. He did not dare to stay any longer because he was terrified of Wilbur.